Hi, could you please give me a call back on this number urgently? I think she's been taken by someone I don't know. Please, can you call back? I was just wondering if anybody's handed in my puppy. A Cocker Spaniel, she's white. She's 13 months old. She's gone missing yesterday afternoon and she's got no collar on.
I found your number online and I really need your help, okay? Someone broke into my house and stole my litter of puppies. Can you please call me back as soon as you can?
I used to have a dog when I was little, but Buddy was our first dog as a family. She was tiny, so she was quite vulnerable. It's like, having a little baby. I think we must have gone out at about 7:30 and it was just a family dinner. And when we came back, the house had been broken into and the first thing I did was look for Buddy. And I couldn't find her. They took my dog and the car. It's literally one of the most upsetting things that's ever happened to me. It's just awful. My husband called the police. They sort of explained, there's nothing they can do. But my husband said he'd heard that there was a pet detective.
It sounds arrogant, but there isn't anybody in the world that can do as good a job as I can on the investigation of animal crime. There's nobody that comes close. I used to be in the military for 15 years, flying helicopters. Then I was a homicide detective for another 15 years. And now I am a pet detective. Being a homicide detective was difficult, but being a pet detective is even harder. As a senior detective, I would often deal with kidnapping negotiations. Now I'm using the same skills on negotiating the recovery of a stolen dog. There is always strong demand for dogs, but during the pandemic, that demand tripled. There's been a number of occasions when I've had to say to families, we won't get your dog back.
I was in tears most of the time at home, but there's nothing I could really do.
When Ruby explained the circumstances behind the burglary, I realised that it was going to be difficult. I was going to have to use a whole range of skills and techniques to find these guys and get the dog back. Ruby's husband said there wasn't much petrol in the car when it was stolen. So straight away I'm thinking, they're going to have to find fuel. So I need to know every single petrol station within a couple of miles of the house. And there was only one. So I've got access to the CCTV footage and I could see 3 or 4 offenders. So it's a team, not an individual.
When Colin told us he had identified the group of people, it just seemed that there was a sliver of hope. But, I just don't know what sort of a person would steal a puppy.
They say you're a product of your environment. For me, I'm making the most of what's been placed in front of me.
These small ones here, right now in the market, they're going for about 1,500. I've seen some of them going for about 2 grand. These ones here are about 3 grand a pop. These bigger ones here, 7 grand. The colouring on this one here, it's a good breed. If I wasn't here with you guys now, I'd be working right now, I'll tell you that. That's why when you're out, you have to be very vigilant because in a blink of an eye, you've lost it.
Growing up, we were greeted with loads of people living a flashy lifestyle. Everybody was getting it, so I wanted all these things for myself. When there's an opportunity and there's money to be made, I'm all in. In terms of what's been made over the past 3 or 4 years, easily in excess of 100 grand. You want something, I supply it for you, I get it for a good price, you're not gonna complain. People don't really ask where dogs have come from, they just want the dog, that's it.
The Buddy case was perhaps one of the most testing investigations I'd worked on for many, many years. And from the actual burglary through to the recovered car was a few months. The car crashed, so it had to be abandoned and eventually recovered by the police. So I knew this is where we were going to get our breakthrough. I went to the police pound and bingo, stuck underneath the seat is a fixed penalty envelope. So I knew the exact time and place that car got that notice, which was Stoke Newington. I'm in this business because it's very, very lucrative. So every conceivable investigative technique is at my disposal. But all the time, I have to use psychology to get what I want by letting the person know that if I can find them, then the police can find them.
Are you proud of what you do?
I'm proud of what I do for the people around me. Help my family, most definitely. Thinking about putting things in place for my little ones, so when they grow up, they might be able to have the opportunities that weren't immediately available to me growing up. In terms of being proud of the stress that you cause to people, no, because I'm not a horrible person, but I guess I've just prioritized my own gains. I'd be a fool to tell you I'm doing this for any other reason other than to get paid.
So I know my offenders are operating from Stoke Newington. We know there's going to be lots and lots of people that know their names. I just got to speak to the right people. What I did was I went amongst the community. I said, I want you to tell them that I'm going to find who they are. They're going to get prosecuted. They'll get locked up in prison. However, I get the stolen dog back, then I leave and everything goes away. And I said that a lot to a lot of different sources.
Hi, this is the detective that's been looking for you around Stoke Newington. You need to know that I know where you live, and I know that you have this stolen dog.
The message I also convey to them, the dog doesn't get dumped. You just need to make a car trip to a rescue centre and hand a dog over. Do this and I go away.
I was at the gym and I saw a number I didn't recognise. It was an organisation saying, we've got your dog. And I said, no. And they said, yes, it's microchipped. And I said, are you sure? And they said, absolutely. And I didn't want to get my hopes up. And I said, can you send me a picture? I just couldn't believe it. You could tell that this dog had been abused. She had the saddest eyes, like she really looked like she'd been through hell. Her face was all matted, and it actually looked like there was like a cigarette burn. Here was this really depressed, downtrodden dog. She was really dirty, and we just gave her a bath. And now she's just back to her normal self, bossing us all around. When you think of it, one small white dog in all of England was like finding a needle in a haystack. I didn't know if I was ever going to see her again. So I never felt so happy. It was like a miracle finding her.
What drives demand is essentially what people are seeing on Instagram, what dogs the celebrities are buying. So Lady Gaga, French Bulldogs, surprise, surprise, the French Bulldog is one of the most popular dog breeds currently. For as long as people want to use a puppy to enhance their social media profile, then there's going to be a strong demand for certain breeds of dog. If more people adopted rescue dogs, then overall the price of dogs would drop and there'd be less incentive for the thieves to steal those dogs.
Do you think that there would be less stress if people just went and got rescue dogs, for example, which there's plenty of them out there?
People don't want rescue dogs. People want the bougie looking dogs. People want the dogs that make them look like they're somebody. A dog that, you know, they want people to lust after. The market is the market. So long as there's a demand, we'll keep supplying. And if I'm not supplying the market, somebody else will. Economics 101.